You find a lot of the small ones, but the big ones are kind of the treasures.
Right. I mean, I would say the biggest that that either I found or any of Tom's family or anyone that I know has found are really kind of the cocktail ring size or the charm pendant size. So,
how many shark's teeth do you think were in the collection that you inherited from thousands?
no, not thousands. I mean, I would say probably I have a lot more that I found here than were in that, and I really just kind of handpicked a lot of the ones that I thought were really unique and very different than what I had. But I would say hundreds, and then I definitely have thousands now. Tom's mother is always amazing. It's sort of, all of her combing, she pulls it all aside and gives it all to me. So I have quite a large amount at this point.
So Tom's family has obviously been very important and significant to the development of the line, and I know his grandmother in particular was an early influence. Can you just talk about how she specifically inspired some of the pieces in the evolution?
Yeah, so I think that Tom's entire family was very inspirational, just in that they all had this. It was something that they shared with me. They've all spent a lot of time here. But his grandmother in particular, because she was just this really wonderful, fashionable woman, and when she passed away, we were looking through, the family trying to pass on all of her beautiful clothing and jewelry. It occurred to me that she had this one piece that had been wrapped with gold wire, and she kind of wore it as a pendant, and it just wasn't the same level of refinement or elegance that she was in all other areas. And in thinking about all this other jewelry that was being passed down to both his sister and myself and his mom and aunt, I just thought, this was something that she spent 40 years on the beach, whether she was fishing or swimming or swimming the beaches, and this was one of her favorite things, and this is something that she shared with several generations after her. And that was when I'd been working on pieces, but they were a little bit more the delicate kind of layered pieces, but that's when it sort of occurred to me that this could be these timeless heirlooms that you might pass down from generation to generation. All made of 18 karat recycled gold, and all one of a kind, and all non-conflict diamonds and non-heat treated gemstones.
So what inspired you to take these organic materials and pair them with 18 karat gold diamonds? We've seen the sort of Aqua East version of the shark's tooth necklace, and your line is so elevated from that, such a different vision. How did that happen?
So I think that it was really about the idea coming from sort of the heirloom concept, but I think thinking about the fact that once I learned more about fossils and just learned more about everything around that, I started to think that it would be so nice to elevate this material to something with precious gemstones, with precious metals, and really treat it like the keepsake that I think it could be. And so it became about really showcasing the shapes and only treating diamonds as kind of little outlines, and really allowing it to be very simple and very modern, something that really works with the lifestyles that I think that we have now, where you wear them day to night, they work with any piece of clothing you have. You really don't treat it as something precious that's to be locked away in a jewelry case and worn a couple of times a year. You actually, it feels like a second skin, and you want to wear it all the time. And it's, it works with our lifestyles these days. So just the idea of really, taking it and challenging the way that you think about it. And I also don't really use shapes that necessarily point to your look a lot like shark's teeth. I really like the idea of using the ones that have really been tasseled in the ocean and kind of softened and have really organic shapes, so that you don't really know what they are when you first see them. You really kind of have to look up close. So therefore, it really just becomes about the shape and the color.
Well, I know a lot of people that are here today have probably searched for shark's teeth fossils on the beach, and it's a tradition that many people on the First Coast share. But do you still enjoy hunting for shark's teeth? Do you go out and spend time by yourself? Do you have rituals when you do it? Do you have to be alone? Do you have to have your dog? Or is it, now that it's a business, does it feel like, oh, work?
No, I definitely spend more time doing it. I mean, since we've relocated down here, I even have more of a connection to it. I really try to get out to the beach every day, if weather permits, and it's one of my favorite times of the day with my dog, and just kind of slowing it down and kind of connecting with nature, and just that process of being out there just allows you to really kind of open your mind, and it's definitely a stronger connection now. It's something I'm able to do a lot more now than I was before. So yeah, definitely. And there's no real, I don't really have any ritual. There's no real, I think that, obviously if you look for them at low tide, you're a lot more successful. And there have to be shells out there to find them. And early on, my husband had kind of taught me that if you sort of squint your eyes, you can, the shiniest, darkest thing, that pops out is usually them. So, at this point, if I go, find 20 kind of thing.
So you'll be out there on the beach squinting your eyes looking at the sand.
Right.
So the line has gotten a lot of attention, as we mentioned in the beginning, from Hollywood celebrities. You've been mentioned and appeared in publications such as Garden and Gun, People Magazine, Harper's Bazaar. You've had a lot of success in very public ways. What has that meant for you as an entrepreneur?
I think that it's always nice to feel that other people appreciate the things that you do, and to especially have discerning clients or editors or stylists really want and seek out the line. So I think that I feel very proud of that. I think that I'm also in such a small business. I've grown organically. I've never raised capital, or it's a very small thing by design. But I think that it's really nice to unlimited resources and in such a short time have things like that happen. So it's great. But the most rewarding thing is definitely having my clients wear it, and I think that by far is the thing that I'm most enjoying about it, and have it be a part of their daily lives. So.
Who are some of the biggest clients that you've had wear your jewelry, some of the celebrities that might be fun?
Olivia Wilde, Olivia Munn, Octavia Spencer, Angelina Jolie was given a piece for her birthday by Brad Pitt's manager. So yeah, those are some.
That's pretty fun, especially if you get an invitation maybe to do a private showing at their house. So on that note, and being an entrepreneur, tell me about starting your own business, and how that compares to your career in the corporate world, and if there's been any particular challenges or rewards that you've experienced since going out on your own.
Yeah. Well, I think that the biggest thing is probably the obvious, which is that when you have a small business, you do every single thing yourself. And I think that trying to teach yourself all of those skills that aren't really natural, because you're either the one doing it or you're directing it, but either way, you have to, you really have to branch out and do a lot of things that you never even thought about before, and that you have no idea how to do. So that is very challenging. Also, the stress level, I think you can never really put it down. You can never really walk away from it. You're always kind of strategizing and trying to figure out how to maximize what you have and how to create opportunities. I think, the nice part of consulting is that you're in and out. It's kind of on a project basis, and there's no stress like that. There's stress to succeed with them, but it's a different level, and it doesn't have a huge price tag associated with it. But I also think the greatest thing about building your own business and being an entrepreneur is that when you do have those little wins, they just mean that much more. It's just like you kind of birth something, and you're
Well, since you've created the line and you've had some success with it, it's all sort of born out of Ponte Vedra. Have you become more sentimental about Ponte Vedra or feel more connected to this place, to this beach?
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think, like I said, it's really my favorite part of the day, and it's something that it's so nice that we actually, that I started developing the line before moving here, and then now that we're here full time, it just feels like it kind of worked out in such a natural way. So yeah, definitely.
Well, the big question is, where can people find the line? Where can they go out and buy a piece of Cresta Bledsoe fine jewelry?
It is sold at Broken English in New York, in Soho, and at Broken English in Brentwood Country Mart in LA, and at a store in St. Simon's called Cloth and Label. And then locally in Ponte Vedra, it's sold at just really select smaller pieces at Model Citizen. But most of my sales have always been private sales, and a lot of it is about really working with someone and giving them exactly what they want. So I do a lot of custom pieces. I do a lot of pieces where people will, bring their fossils that mean something to them, and or we'll make, something like this that really has to be made for you, to be an exact fit. So most of my sales have always been private sale, and I suspect that will